So I'll try to pick up the pace on my presentation. Just up the front here is my team members that'll be here most of the day, if not all the day. So if you have any questions, Sacco, Danielle, Chip, and Meredith are here from my team. They're invaluable. I think the message from the leadership of the police department is going to be round pegs and round holes. It's necessary to think about the officer that you're putting in place to be the liaison to our peer coach recovery team. Sacco is almost complete with his master's in psychology. He's going on to a PhD in psychology. He was a natural fit for me, an easy transition. Secondly, before you put any policy in place, any program in place, you need to have a well thought out policy. We did that initially by making sure that there was a China wall built between the investigative division and Sacco and his team, that they weren't able to cross over that wall unless it was life-threatening measures that needed to be addressed. So that policy I will make available to anyone who needs it, wants it. Again, it's not a cookie cutter. You got to think about what you're trying to do, what your priorities are, and as well as the program itself. What are your priorities? How are you going to set it up? And again, we use the peer coaches who are funded through the Bureau of Substance Abuse, and also the town of Winthrop is now putting more money into that, so we can address other substances other than opiates with them. Again, I think it's very narrow-minded of us to sit here today to think opiates is our only problem, as you'll see in my later slides. So think about the program and how you're going to address the alcohol, the marijuana, the other pills that are being taken and causing such a crisis as well. Sacco comes in every day. He reads our log. He finds out who is in need. He reaches out and does the initial contact. After the initial contact, he brings Danielle and Chip in. He's never gotten a no. We thought the uniform would be a barrier. It was not a barrier. He's always managed to talk to people, whether they're in the backseat of his cruiser being transported to court, after court appearances, or before they even get to that stage. Collaboration with the fire department is necessary. They do a lot of medicals. They have data. However, we noticed we aren't collecting data the same. They don't put the names in any of their narratives. So now they're doing that so we can identify more specifically those people who call the fire department directly. Most of our calls come in through 911 and the 1212, which is the police department lines. So we get a pretty good list. Uniqueness about our program is we connected with the Suffolk County Sheriff's Department 30 days prior to pre-entry into the town of Winthrop. Sacco will get an email from the sheriff saying this list of people who are going to be re-entered into Winthrop, they had come in with a substance abuse problem. Sacco will get Chip and Danielle together and go over to the jail of the House of Correction and meet those people there. Again, what we found out during the process here is drug court. Uniqueness about drug court is once they got that certificate, they were back out onto the street and they were relapsing. So we aligned it to say it's like a diet. You're on a diet for so long, and after that you fall off your diet. Well, drug court was doing that to drug users and abusers, so we needed to fill that vacuum. So Danielle and Chip go to drug court every Tuesday. They sit during the sessions. They get introduced to the people during the drug court sessions, and then they're for support after drug court. So that's another gap that we had to fill. Again, we'll offer whatever they want. We'll offer peer coaching. We'll offer 12-step program, outpatient programs, and then we'll try to get them into a rehab or a treatment facility if they want to. Problems that we ran into during the first year of this program, we started April of 2015, transportation problems. I can't get there, I don't have a ride. So what did we do? I went to my boss who allowed me to do a voucher program. Anyone who doesn't have transportation, we write a voucher to. After the transportation, after school programs, we noticed that we were getting mothers or fathers that had children and another spouse that had to work. I can't go to rehab because of those issues. So what we did, we paired up with everyone who provided after school services for a reduced rate or no rate during the hours of 2 and 6 until the other spouse got home. And then lastly, We were also having problems with food and people needing assistance with food. Well, their other spouse was in getting rehabilitated. Meredith sits on a 501c in Winthrop. There's a Mia Morey, and they actually get access to about 300 meals a week to be distributed throughout the town of Winthrop with the town of Winthrop residents. So we do a mix of people in our program, also seniors, and whoever else that needs that. What's not resolved, as we touched base on earlier, is our peer coach recovery is only part-time. We're trying to make them full-time. We've got some money in our budget this year to do that. Detoxification, 3 days, seems to be a big problem. The insurance is only covered up to 3 days. So we've been speaking to our legislative agents about that and saying 7 days is what's needed. Let's get it to 7 days so we can really start helping people. The information I was getting from some doctors that did presentations in Winthrop was they have to tell their clients the first 3 or the last 3. And depending on where they are in the cycle, coming in and doing those last 3 at home is like having the flu times 100 times. So it's very, you get the medicine, you can grab to it, they're going to grab the medicine and fix their immediate problem. So it's important to have that at 7 days. And then fast track, you can fast track if you're in a jail or house of correction, but if you come out for a short period of time, a week or 2, there's no fast track. Chip was dealing with someone that had that exact issue, and it took us about 3 weeks to get him into a place. And then, of course, everyone knows not enough beds available to everyone across the state. So those are the issues. So what did we find out, I guess, in that year time? And what we found out, and through the efforts of my intern, Dan Stone, opiates was the exact problem that we thought we had. But this allows us to see what else is the problem, this particular slide. So we also recognize we have an alcohol problem in Winthrop, which is not surprising, 1.2 square miles, and I think we have 9 package stores and about 15 social centers that serve alcohol. So it's really not that shocking to me being on the street, but other people see this, oh my God, what's going on? But this also allows us to keep track of what is being used, and if something else starts to creep up, we can address it quickly, hopefully, and unlike the opiates, everyone kind of buried their head in sand. At least this keeps us aware on a weekly and monthly basis of what's going on in Winthrop. The incidence of overdoses that we had since the inception was 161 incidences. About 131 of those incidences had peer recovery support available to it. 68 of those said yes. And then the last 2 bars there tell us that we first started out poor data collection from the police department. We were documented it, we weren't documented enough. We didn't have phone numbers to contact people. So those are very important to stress to the street officers. Get phone numbers, get contacts, find out an address that they were at least last at, so we can actually reach out better to those people. And so this type of data, also the fire department's now on board and tracking it. If we're not on scene, they're going to get that information for us to build the collaboration even more. And this is just another chart from the bar chart. And this here breaks down the Winthrop Fire Department and the Winthrop Police data. And we saw a 4% increase in the medical aids and drugs from 2014 to 2015. And the next slide indicates a 270% increase in alcohol medical aids. A significant increase from the prior year. We did have 1 person that was on average being transported 4 times a week. 4 times a day. It was a game that he was an alcoholic. He's now incarcerated. He wouldn't accept the help. We tried to reach out, and the system, we failed to convince him. The year before that, we sent him to North Carolina. We paid for his trip down to a rehab in North Carolina because he was using so much public resources. It was cheaper to fly him to North Carolina than to send a police officer, fire truck, and ambulance 4 times a week to find him. So you have those public-private enterprises that you can get together to fix a small problem. I just want to thank the Deputy Chief who reminds us how fortunate we are not to be Worcester, that we have these problems that we can fix quickly. if you have one or two individuals that are really driving your numbers up. So thank you for that. And again, as word of mouth, and the program has really developed, it used to be